Welcome to the Hollywood vs. Hollywood podcast. I am your host, HT, joining you with my co-host, the Bearheart, sitting across from me, Michael Herbert.
I'm happy to be here.
Tell me, which of these two movies am I describing, Michael? When a colony of hardworking ants is facing annihilation by a powerful insect who thinks that worker ants are beneath his kind, a misfit working ant is able to change the entire culture of the colony, making them realize that there is more to life than just working constantly, and that a community working together is undefeatable.
That's Rashomon. No.
Was that Seven Samurai? Today on the Hollywood vs. Hollywood podcast, we are talking about A Bug's Life versus Antz with a Z. Let's start with A Bug's Life. Play the trailer.
Why would we start with A Bug's Life? It begins with the... You don't count the A.
I don't know that. I didn't know that.
We've discussed this. It's library rules.
I don't know these library rules.
All right, I'm not going to stop you. Let's roll the trailer.
It's a bug-eat-bug world out there.
From the creators of Toy Story.
Someone could get hurt.
Let's ride! We can find bigger bugs to come here and fight.
Ta-da! Squish them.
On November 25th,
Hey, you think this is a game? Go, go, go!
Disney and Pixar present
We are gonna knock them dead!
A Bug's Life, rated G.
I think I'm going to vet myself.
Coming November 25th.
The entire script's gonna get messed up now.
That's fine. We're gonna stay with the way you had it.
What is A Bug's Life about?
Oh boy, A Bug's Life is about an ant that just doesn't quite fit in. He doesn't go along with the program, and he has the wild idea one day that he's going to go off into the world and find some strong warrior bugs who are going to come back to his ant colony and help them repel the evil grasshoppers who force them to pick their food.
Critics and audience score for Bug's Life, sir.
Oh, the stats. All right, A Bug's Life, rated G, with a running time of 1 hour and 36 minutes, has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 92%, with an audience score of 72%, and a 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Our second contender is Antz.
On October 2nd, Dreamworks Pictures invites you
We ants are running the show. We're the lords of the earth.
to jump in,
Want to dance?
Absolutely.
get down,
Ouch.
and dig out.
Let's eat. There's some kind of force field.
Because heroes don't come any smaller.
I've never been able to lift more than 10 times my own body weight.
And adventure doesn't get any bigger than Antz. Rated PG. Starts Friday, October 2nd.
What is Antz about?
Antz is similarly about an ant who doesn't want to go along with the program. He doesn't subscribe to being the worker that his lot or cast in life has kind of planned for him to be, and he's rebelling against the system.
And what's the critics and audience score?
Antz, rated PG. I think that's because of the severed ant head. The conversation he has with...
The severed, yeah. Mr. Danny Glover.
Antz has a running time of 1 hour and 27 minutes, an identical Rotten Tomatoes score of 92%.
That's high.
With
That's
an
high.
audience score of 52% and a 2.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Wow, that's a big difference. The other two famous animated movies released in 98 were Disney's Mulan and DreamWorks' The Prince of Egypt. Are those twins?
Close.
Close? You think so?
They don't fit the bill.
Okay. A Bug's Life versus Antz was a very famous rivalry back in 98. Do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So Antz arrives near the beginning of DreamWorks Animation, in part because Jeffrey Katzenberg, who had been chairman of Walt Disney Studios, he was ousted. And shortly thereafter, you'll find that while Disney and Pixar had been working on a film called Bugs, DreamWorks put into pre-production a film called Antz. And so it feels like the reason that Antz and A Bug's Life are twin films is because of some genuine personal butthurt.
So Was this their second film, DreamWorks'?
I'm not sure.
I think it was. We're proper researchers over here. What is your favorite Pixar movie?
Hold a gun to my head today, and I'm a Ratatouille man. But, on any given day, I might be a Wall-E guy, maybe an Inside Out person.
Yeah. So, Monsters, Inc. for me, for a while. And then it was the first 20 minutes of Up. And
Just
then,
the first 20 minutes of Up.
Just the first 20 minutes. And then I think right now Inside Out is holding the mantle for Pixar for me.
And it's hard to deny how good and effective and important the Toy Story franchise is. It almost feels like it's still their best. It's still their best story, but it feels almost worn out to say like, oh, Toy Story is my favorite. But those characters are such a part of our culture at large now.
Yeah, they'll keep cranking them out, make those dollars. What about DreamWorks? What is your favorite DreamWorks animation movie?
Shrek's a hell of a movie.
It's a great rewatchable.
It's super tight. It's like 90-something minutes. The characters are indelible. There's tons of great one-liners. The score is excellent. So I think that's their best. The first Shrek, I think, is DreamWorks' best film. My personal favorite, though, is a little gem called The Road to El Dorado.
Oh, I have not seen this. This is an animated film?
Yes, it features the vocal talents of Kevin Kline. It is about two friends who are attempting to flee, I think, the Spanish Navy, and they stumble upon the lost city of El Dorado.
That sounds interesting.
It's lovely.
Yeah. So for me, it was Shrek, but then over time, there was a moment in history when Jack Black was everywhere, and that's when Kung Fu Panda came out. And so I enjoyed Kung Fu Panda, but I never revered Kung Fu Panda. But now that we've had some distance from Jack Black, and if I catch it on a rewatchable or catch it somewhere, I actually really enjoy that movie, Kung Fu Panda. So I think for DreamWorks, Kung Fu Panda is my go-to. And then you haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon.
Sadly, and to my lasting shame, I have not.
I think that's their most profitable property. They have like TV shows, toys. You can get a Build-A-Bear title.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I will watch it. I will watch it soon.
So do you know about these rival films from these two studios? Finding Nemo versus Shark Tale?
Yes.
You mentioned Ratatouille as your favorite right now. Flushed Away, have you heard of this?
I've heard of it. I don't seek toilet-centric films.
It's got a rat. It's got a rat. Yeah.
Is the rat who gets flushed away?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Monsters, Inc. versus Shrek. Are they sort of twins? The Shrek is like a monster.
Monster-like character. I feel like Shrek is fairy tale derivative. I want to circle back real quick. It's Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh who do the voices in Road to El Dorado. Also, a really wonderful Rosie Perez.
Well, what's going on with Kenneth Branagh? Has he become like a big-time director all of a sudden?
I mean, he's always been kind of a big-time director. Not too long ago, I watched his Mary Shelley's Frankenstein for the first time, and it's a wildly outsized movie. The sets and the costumes and people are on fire, and Robert De Niro is the monster. Yeah, I feel like you hear the name Kenneth Branagh a lot lately, along with Jack Black. I think he's become a bit of like an elder statesman of filmmaking, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the mustache.
So for our audience, Kenneth Branagh is the guy who plays the bad guy in Tenet, and he is a director. He's directed Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express.
A Haunting in Venice.
A Haunting in Venice that came out this year. So, you'll see him everywhere. And he's a director also. Are you ready to put these two movies against each other?
Boy, am I ever.
Princesses will be kidnapped. Bad guys will fall to their deaths. But only one movie can be crowned a true Hollywood champion in the Hollywood versus Hollywood podcast.
It's a bug-eat-bug world out there.
Danny Glover's head is lying in the middle of the battlefield.
It's one of those moments that made me want to see it on a big screen.
We have a very simple process. Each movie will compete today in 15 rounds, and it will be granted a point if it wins the round.
You're not going to draw people's attention to the new streamlined Hollywood versus Hollywood?
Yeah, our marketing department, meaning Michael, came up to me and said that 19 categories is too much. We're losing
absurd.
audience. So
19's too many. The show's too long. So we trimmed down. We took out 4 categories. Now we're 15 categories total. We're ready to rock.
we are like a efficient anthill right now.
Like
all the workers have come together to gather around the queen.
We're late like a croissant.
In the end, whichever movie has the most total points wins this episode of the Hollywood versus Hollywood podcast. The other movie gets, I don't know, what a good one for this.
Squished by a shoe?
Ooh, the other movie gets squished by a shoe. That's good. I like it.
Torched by a magnifying glass?
Oh, yeah. Got a third one? Stuck in gum?
Hit in the head with a raindrop.
Okay.
Stalked by a fake bird.
Yeah, you can keep going. Or we can move on. Mike and
Set aflame in a circus act.
All right. A lot of fire things going on over here.
Yeah.
Michael and I are also each allowed the ace up the sleeve card. What is the ace up the sleeve?
Oh, man,
card?
it's been so long since we recorded. I forgot about the ace up the sleeve. The ace up the sleeve brings an end to the debate in any category. If H feels strongly that a film should get a point, or if I feel strongly that a film should get a point, we can pull the ace up our sleeve, give the point to the film of our choosing, though each ace up the sleeve is susceptible to being Uno reversed by the other person's ace up the sleeve, should they still possess it.
Let's jump into it. Round 1. Which movie won the release date? A Bug's Life was released on November 14, 1998. Antz was released on October 2, 1998. Tell me, Michael, which movie got to the theaters first?
Ants.
Point Antz?
Point Ants.
Just to give you a little backstory, Katzenberg pushed the release date of Antz up to go in before Bug's Life.
Just like a Katzenberg.
And they spent like an extra $20 million to get there. And you'll find out what happened at the box office next.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Round 2. Which movie won the box office? A Bug's Life with a budget of $45 million grossed $363 million worldwide. Antz with a budget of $60 million grossed $171.8 million.
Ouch,
worldwide.
my Katzenberg.
This goes to
Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life gets a point. What was going on in 1998? Where there were all these movies about like people just being unhappy at their jobs. So is it a 1998 thing, or is it like always going on? Because 98, 99 saw Fight Club, guy unhappy at his job. Matrix.
I was just thinking The Matrix, how unhappy Thomas Anderson is.
Office Space.
Yeah.
So like there was something in the culture at the time, or is it just that we're only thinking about these movies, and these movies have always existed where a guy is unhappy at his job? Because, Total Recall, Arnie was unhappy at his job too.
Well, I feel like when people who were conscious as adults in the 90s talk about that decade, they describe it as very boring, and steady. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Too safe.
Safe, yeah. So I think that gives people an opportunity to consider the things around them, when the world's not on fire. And with the tech boom, I think you also had people who were just sitting in front of computers and working, in cubicles. So, I think it's nice that people felt capable and enabled to criticize that, that condition. And I think it's similar probably to how COVID made people look at their boss and say, why wasn't working in the office before, and why do I have to come back now?
Yeah. And if you look at like all of these characters in the movies that we mentioned, and A Bug's Life and Antz, it's not a bad life that they're living in the colonies that they live in. It's just that they're internally dissatisfied with the droniness of it all.
And something about resisting a prepared path, right? These are both characters who, Flick in A Bug's Life, he has like a inventor's mind. Z, I don't know. I don't know what Z would do if he wasn't, being a quote unquote worker. But neither are really interested in that thing that was kind of handed to them as a career.
Well, let's move on. Round 3. Which movie has the better title?
Antz. Antz with a Z. I feel like adding a Z to thing was a bit like adding the word extreme to things. Was there like extreme Mountain Dew or like extreme kinds of deodorant?
Yeah, for people who did not grow up in the 90s like we did, everything, like if you got peanut butter, you would get extreme peanut butter. And then you would get extreme chunky peanut butter. And then if you kept doing it, you would get extremely chunky.
That was good. I thought you were going to say like you'd get extreme diarrhea or something.
So you...
there was a real moment of neon green, and I feel like there's some neon green wrapped up in the poster. Yeah, kind of outlining the word ants is a very 90s neon green color. So when I was thinking about this category after watching the films, and I didn't have a real gut response to it. Ants, A Bug's Life, neither really evokes an emotion in me. But now that we're talking about it, Antz feels really like of a moment, and A Bug's Life feels a little more timeless. So unless you felt differently, and I'd be happy to hear if you do, I would vote for A Bug's Life.
Yeah, I think, going back to my normal thinking, which is, you see the word ants and you see the word A Bug's Life talking about movies, I think I'm more interested in seeing A Bug's Life, especially when I know it's not a documentary.
Antz feels like it's trying maybe a little too hard.
Yeah. Trying to be cute. Let's go to Antz.
Look at us. Agreeing.
Point A Bug's Life. Better title. Just for our audience, one of the categories we got rid of was Best Title Drop. Neither of these movies actually did it, right? So, but if a movie does do it, we will bring it up while discussing Best Title. Moving on. Round 4. Which movie has the best leading actor? Let's start with David Foley, He voiced the character of Flick in A Bug's Life. He's best known for Kids in the Hall, which was a comedy troupe back in the 90s. Pretty funny guys. And that's all I have for his filmography. Do you want anything to add to that?
Yeah, I wrote a couple extra things down here. Blast from the Past.
But was he the main character in it?
Not the main character. He is rarely the main character. It's one of the things that's unique about his role in A Bug's Life. He rode the Brendan Fraser train there for a little bit. Also in Monkey Bone. He's got a role in Sky High, which I'm a fan of. He had reoccurring roles on TV in Hot in Cleveland and a show called The Middle. My mom was a big fan of The Middle. And he rejoined the Pixar universe as Terry in Monsters University.
Oh, he did? Okay. I always like him. I always like seeing him on screen. He's, usually a B character in the movies. What do you think of his voice performance as Flick in A Bug's Life?
He's got great energy, and I think he actually auditioned for a smaller role and won over the filmmakers to ultimately take the lead role. And it's really nice, he's a seasoned performer and he's got comedy chops, but I think for most people probably would not recognize.
Well, I knew of him, I knew his name, but I would have never thought that he would be the lead voice character in an animated movie.
And I think that goes a long way towards helping the suspension of disbelief when you can't picture the human behind the microphone. He's a really, really engaging main character, and that we're probably getting into like the writing of it more than the performance of it. But his ability to sell his exasperation, his desperation, he's got moments of quiet and moments of quiet reflection, but he never feels out of place. His voice never feels out of place, no matter what the character's doing.
Yeah. So for me, I like Dave Foley in A Bug's Life, but I don't know if Flick is my favorite character in A Bug's Life. Like throughout the movie, I'm like, am I rooting for this guy? You know, it's like if
You're
I'm
a Grasshopper fan.
we'll
Kevin
get to
Spacey?
We'll get to Kevin Spacey soon, yeah. But coming back to Foley and Flick, watching this movie, it's like if you're watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you watch the movie from the dad's point of view. You know what I mean? Because he's like the inventor dude doing whatever he's doing, versus what Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is, where I want to watch the movie. Well, the movie is from the kid's point of view, and it's more fun that way. So I think I would have. That's the reason why there's a disconnect for me. Like, I don't know if I like this character, even though it's a well-written character.
I mean, he's the more stable force in the center of the universe of the movie. His motivations are consistent kind of from beginning to end. And this is, we're talking about story and writing and less performance. But to your point, I think it would be a much more like madcap film if it was from the perspective of one of the circus bugs.
Or maybe the queen, the princess's story. You know, I don't know.
She's just a pink version of Flick.
What if she went to? Anyways, that's all story. We'll get to it. Anyway, that's what I felt about David Foley.
That's fair.
As Flick. Let's get to the lead actor in Antz. 4-time Academy Award winning Woody Allen, not for acting, voices the character of Z. He won Academy Awards for writing and directing and producing, I think. Where are we with Woody Allen in terms of cancel culture? Is he still relevant or is he canceled?
I mean, he's right on the cusp, isn't he? And that he has walked a line. I would have to say that he's probably just past canceled.
Yeah.
Like I've spent some time researching the allegations against Woody Allen to get a sense of essentially where should I be, on this issue. And it's complicated. 4 Academy Awards for writing. He has the most nominations of anyone ever for original screenplay, 16 nominations, 10 BAFTA awards, 2 Golden Globe awards, a Grammy, nominations for Emmy Awards and Tony Awards. Wrote and directed 50 plus films, including writing, directing, and starring in Annie Hall, Manhattan, Hannah and Her Sisters, writing and directing Match Point, Midnight in Paris, Blue Jasmine, some of the more recent ones. One of the most important and influential figures in American film, and decidedly a creep, right?
Well, now in 20, for the past 20 years, I guess. Yeah.
I think you've got 2. I don't want to spend the whole podcast talking about this, but I think you have 2 creep issues, right? There's the issue with his adopted daughter, who he then started a relationship with, and then you have allegations of sexual abuse regarding his children, which, according to my most recent research, the evidence hasn't been strong enough to lead any prosecutor to pursue it.
We're not news podcasters. We're entertainment podcasters,
right.
And we like to focus on the films themselves rather than so much so on the personal lives of the people involved.
And it's frankly tough. I'm gonna.
Because we have Kevin Spacey coming up,
and we also have John Lasseter.
Yeah.
So this, I was really looking forward to diving into these like lighter films, and then when I started writing notes about this podcast, I was like, good grief. So I think we can say Woody Allen. He's an influential filmmaker. He's made some great films, some influential films. It seems more likely than not that he's a big creep in his personal life, and we can move on, right?
So, what do you think of his performance as Z in this movie?
He's doing his thing, which he feels like a pinch hitter, right? I don't know what they thought Antz was supposed to be, but it kind of feels like it was written by Woody Allen as he was performing it. Like, it feels like a film that had an outline, and then Woody Allen comes in and does quite a bit of improv. A lot of improvisation, and they kind of expand, the scenes and the character and the story from there, because the supporting cast of this movie is flat. Really, except for Gene Hackman, nobody really feels like they're doing anything. Not to, again, jump in categories here, but, Woody Allen stands out amongst the cast as a very original voice, and he's funny. It's a funny performance.
Well, let me tell you my thoughts. much like Foley as Flick, I don't know if Woody Allen's presence in the character of Z helped or hurt the character, the movie. But I think the script itself was decent enough or good enough for me to like this character. So I liked the character of Z more than I liked the character of Flick. His internal conflict is something that resonated with me. So not for Woody Allen, but for the character itself of Z, I personally gravitate towards Z more than I do towards Flick. What do you think?
I'm conflicted about giving a point to Woody Allen after the issues that we've discussed, but I think his quality performance is more integral to what success Antz has than Dave Foley's quality performance is to the success of Bug's Life.
Yeah, I guess that's well put, because I feel like another comedian could have just as well done a good job in Dave Foley's shoes, in Flick's shoes in A Bug's Life.
I don't want to cut Dave Foley off at the knees. I think he provides a unique and really great performance in A Bug's Life, but I think A Bug's Life has a lot going for it, especially in terms of the supporting characters. And I think without the personality that Woody Allen injects into the Z character, Antz is a much worse film.
I would have liked to see Jim Carrey play either of these characters, and I think both films would improve a lot for me. Jim Carrey was huge in 98.
Both.
Yeah. Jim Carrey would be great in either movie.
It's just, it's a real decision to bring in Woody Allen, right?
Yeah.
It's a real choice.
I was surprised to see his name.
And I think the decision to bring a Dave Foley in says, we're not really interested in people being able to visualize the voice behind the ant. But if you bring Woody Allen in, everybody's going to be like, there's this, curly-haired Caucasian with thick-rimmed glasses behind a microphone. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. All right. A reluctant point to Woody Allen. Round 5. Which movie has the best rest of the cast? Meaning everyone except the lead actors. Now, you've already kind of shown your cards here, but let's talk about it. A Bug's Life features Kevin Spacey as Hopper. He's been canceled. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Princess Ada. The hilarious I love Richard Kind. The hilarious Richard Kind as Molt. And you know that Bing Bong from Inside Out is a favorite character of mine.
Yours?
Is it yours as well?
I bought you
I didn't know he was
a
one of your...
Bing Bong toy because I thought you and I shared a great appreciation for Bing Bong. And I wanted you to not only think about your dreams, but also me every time that you looked at it.
I really love that gift. It's in my office all the time. And Richard Kind did a great job as Molt in this movie as well. We have Dennis Leary as Francis. I like Dennis Leary as Francis. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus, by the way. She's awesome.
Oh, she's absolutely amazing. Did you mention Bonnie Hunt?
No.
As Rosie? Did you mention Hayden Panettiere?
I don't know these actors.
A very young Hayden Panettiere as Dot. Brad Garrett as Dim. David Hyde Pierce as Slim, the stick bug.
I don't know who these people are.
David Hyde Pierce was Niles Crane on Frasier.
Okay.
He was also in a show on Broadway.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. He was in a show on Broadway that I saw called Curtains, which was very funny. And I brought my double disc copy of A Bug's Life to have him autograph it after the show. And he was not amused at all.
So he's not proud of this work, huh?
I don't know why people get upset when people appreciate things that they do. I don't know.
Well, I guess Stick does get misused and abused a lot in this movie, huh?
Yeah, but it's a successful performance and everybody loves it. Whatever, moving on. Phyllis Diller as the Queen. Phyllis Diller, extraordinarily influential comedian. John Ratzenberg plays P.T. Flea. John Ratzenberg, famous for having a role in all the early Pixar movies. He's the Abominable Snowman in Monsters, Inc. He is the Underminer in Incredibles. He is Ham? I think he's Ham in Toy Story.
Well, I really loved P.T. Flea, and I did not know who this actor was.
He's
so
a great character.
Thanks for shedding light.
And want to mention Joe Ranft, who voiced Heimlich. Joe Ranft was an animator, screenwriter, voice actor, OG Pixar employee.
Wait, so Stanton did not voice Heimlich?
No, it's Joe Ranft. He was a director. He directed The Brave Little Toaster, which I know means a lot to some people. He's credited as an original story writer for Toy Story and A Bug's Life. He's the exec producer on Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. He was a co-director on Cars. And he did a scratch recording for the voice of Heimlich that everybody loved when they were producing the film. And when they brought in other actors to read for it, nobody compared to his scratch recording. So he ended up doing the actual on-screen recording for Heimlich. And Joe Ranft, unfortunately, died in a car accident during the production, I think, of Cars.
Unrelated car accident, because...
Unrelated car accident to the animated film. Yes, unrelated to the animated Cars from the film. Really, really sad. Big loss, not just for Pixar, but, for the creative filmmaking community.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm finished. That was the worst Heimlich. That was terrible. I'm finished.
So for Antz, we have Sharon Stone as Princess Bala, Sylvester Stallone as Weaver, Gene Hackman as General Mandible, Dan Aykroyd as Chip, Anne Bancroft, Mrs. Jackson, right, as the Queen, Danny Glover as Barbatus, and Jennifer Lopez as Azteca. So a pretty loaded cast there. Oh, Christopher Walken as Cutter. What do you think of that cast?
It's a great cast, and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
I would say save for Gene Hackman. I feel like Gene's putting in work in this film. But outside of that, I honestly don't know what anybody... It really sounds like Jennifer Lopez is reading a phone book throughout her performance. Yeah, it sounds like Sly Stallone called in from a large mobile phone from the late 90s.
Let me ask you this. Had you seen Antz before?
I had.
Okay, and Bug's Life as well? Many times, I'm supposing?
I'd seen Bug's Life more than I'd seen Antz, but I'd seen both.
And have your feelings changed over time? Did we mention Danny? I think we skipped Danny Glover.
You mentioned Danny Glover.
Oh, yeah, he's there.
Danny Glover's doing work, too. I think, actually, his performance as... What's his name? Barabbas?
Barbatus. These animated movies are really hard.
The names in this movie are out of control. Barbatus.
Yeah.
He's doing something there, and then Dan Aykroyd's doing something too. It's just really weird. Yeah, I don't know. The voice performances in this movie are very confusing to me.
Sure. You know what? I can swing either way here because
I spent time talking about the performers and not talking about the performances. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Princess Ada, she is so engaged, a very animated voice. And Richard Kind, there's so much of Richard Kind in the performance. These performances enhance the characters. I feel like the voices in Antz were applied to existing characters, and I feel like the creators of A Bug's Life took what made each voice unique and really injected that not just into like the appearance of the character, but the way the character moves, the way it interacts with other people, and the nature, the real nature of the character itself.
Okay, you have convinced me. So I'm willing to give this point to A Bug's Life.
Just because I'm a ladybug, it automatically makes me a girl.
All right, point A Bug's Life. Round 6. Best scene. In this category, Michael and I agree on what we think is the best scene in each movie, and then we decide which movie has the best scene. Well, if you're going out of chronology, chip in, right? I'll start. In A Bug's Life, I have Hopper's introduction scene, which is when the grasshoppers crash through the ceiling The stakes and the power dynamics of the film are set up very quickly and efficiently in that scene right away.
When the feet come through the roof,
Yeah.
arresting. And the glowy mushrooms.
Yeah.
I love the glowy mushrooms.
Molt, the funny brother, is introduced. There's some good lines which we'll come into best dialogue.
I feel like we didn't. I just want to take a moment and just,
paint the scene.
The greatest honor that I can bestow upon someone via this podcast is what I'll call the National Treasure Award. Richard Kind, National Treasure.
Absolutely amazing. I guess after Sam Jackson, he's the second most beloved person in America.
I dare you to find a person who doesn't like Richard Kind, now that you mention it.
So yeah, it's a great scene. Do you want to add anything about the scene?
No, you're right. I think I feel like it's like the Gryffindor in me that doesn't want to acknowledge a villain scene as being one of the better scenes of the movie. But you're totally right. It's a great scene. It sets the stakes. I'll probably mention it a few more times during this podcast. But the sound design in A Bug's Life is out of control. I watched Antz first, and then I watched A Bug's Life, and all the scenes, all the environments just felt so much more complete because of the audio. And the sound that the grasshoppers make when Hopper says, "Let's ride," and it's almost like like a biker gang, and all the different tones of it and the way they go right back through the ceiling. Oh, it's so intense.
Do we know who the sound designer was?
I don't, but I will look it up.
While I read my next scene, why don't you research that? A scene that comes soon after is, and I think this is a scene where everybody is going to pick this scene, I think, which is the circus scene. When the circus is first introduced to us and we meet everybody at the circus, it's a comedy of errors. Everything is happening all at once. And we get introduced to the entire motley crew of circus performers. We have Francis interacting with the flies, which I thought was one of the best bits in the whole scene.
Shoe fly.
What is shoe fly?
He goes, "Shoe fly, don't bother me."
I love the introduction of the, what is, I think, the genesis of the minions from Despicable Me.
Who's that?
The two...
the Rolly Bugs.
The Rolly Bugs. The Rolly Bugs, if you observe them, they're basically minions. So I'm pretty sure that they might have been an inspiration for...
You're fired.
I love all the jokes sprinkled throughout the scene, and I loved how it all ended with the Firefly trap trick. What do you want to add about this?
The thing that stuck out to me about that scene was the end and how I feel like the beats are escaping me now, but so let's walk through the flaming death trick, right, and how it goes wrong.
Do you want to just call that a scene, or do you want to call the whole circus?
No,
scene?
I think the whole circus, and this is one of my scenes that I have flaming death written down as one of my favorite scenes. So it's at the I'm trying to think of how things start to go wrong in that scene. So PT he lights the match, and the mantis he accidentally hits the
somebody
egg timer.
Somebody mishears the beginning command,
right?
And they start too soon.
And then the Black Widow, Rosie, the Black Widow, comes down. She's making her net. And was it the Rolly bug that flies out of the dim, lands on the thing that shoots the Rolly bug into PT, and he goes flying.
It's
something.
I could not specify exactly, but yeah, it was a comedy of errors.
But in the very end, so you've got PT, and he's stuck on the fly paper, and as he's yoinking himself off the paper, his little antennas and stuff, his little hairs are sticking to the paper, and he finally gets off, and he's so happy with himself. He does this I'm king of the world strut, and then the paper tips over. It's a wonderful sound effect and visual as the fly paper goes bursts into flames. And then he's, frozen into position. He's smoking. He says, "You're fired." And then along comes the troop, and they bloop, 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 and they put him into these, they drop the little drops of water on him. And it's a great example of something that you see like in Chaplin films, that they take a bit and they squeeze every ounce of comedy out of it. It's a really amazing and propulsive scene.
Yeah, I really love that scene. I think that's most people would pick that as like the best scene.
It's a pretty
in this
standout
movie.
scene.
Do you have any nominees to add for A Bug's Life?
I did have another scene. I really, really love the moment when the circus/warrior bugs land in the colony area. They come down and we get this perspective where we're looking up at Heimlich's face as he comes towards the ground. And then you get these really cool quick shots of all the different feet. You know, the bugs kind of different feet and how they make different sounds as they land. And then Dim the big bug, and he lands and it's just like poof. I love the scene that starts there and goes through the welcoming ceremony where the little children from the South Tunnel Elementary School,
Blueberry Troop.
They do the battle dramatization, and
Oh yeah, that was great.
and the circus troupe realizes what they're in for the first time. And one of the kids says, you know, we drew one of you dead because our teacher thought it would be more dramatic. And Heimlich is depicted as he's cut in half like a T-bone steak. And, we flash forward. We see the reactions on their faces, and we flash forward to the one little student bug, saying, I die. Die.
I really enjoyed that moment.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
But I'll go with you. I think the circus scene and Flaming Death, that stand out.
Yeah, that's got to be the best scene in the movie. Let's talk about Antz. For Antz, I wrote down, well, you tell me, is there anything in the beginning of the movie that you have? Because this is like mid-movie, the scene that I have written down.
I think the first one that I have is the bar scene, the ant bar and the dancing scene. I didn't mention it. Another thing that I liked about that welcoming ceremony scene where the kids do the battle reenactment is the music that starts that scene that the ants are making. That, it just, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the music that ants would make. And I like the music. I also like the depiction of music in the ant bar where everyone's supposed to dance the same. It's like it's music, but it's as boring as music could be. Like if you were given the task to write a boring piece of music, this is it. And even though I think it's a little hokey and it's a little clunky, the notion of Z deciding that he's not going to dance the way that everybody else is going to dance is a real distillation of what's different about his character, right? He's not going to do the cha-cha slide.
Yeah.
He's not going to do the electric slide. He's going to do his own thing.
Okay. The scene that I've written down as the best scene in the movie is the aftermath of the termite battle scene, which earned, according to you, its PG rating.
According to me.
This scene is like an entirely different movie altogether. It's like something from Platoon or Saving Private Ryan. This scene takes the movie where I did not think this movie.
It strikes me as odd that you're saying that you think that this is one of the best scenes because it's not like any other scene in the movie.
It's like no other. It does not belong in a children's movie. This scene, and along with many other scenes of this movie, have beautiful matte paintings. Yeah?
Yeah.
So matte paintings are, well, do we need to explain this to our audience? Matte paintings? Tell us what a matte painting is.
A matte painting is a painting, and it's used as a background element, and it's not just used in animated films.
Before green screen, before massive CGI that is commonplace today, matte paintings was the way that big things that could not be built would be shown. A classic example of this would be in the movie Alien, when they're descending down to where the egg nests are laid, that big giant cave, that's a matte painting. And it's a very beautifully done matte painting.
In North by Northwest, when you see Mount Rushmore from the front, that's a matte painting. You can actually go see that painting at the Academy Museum in Los Angeles, which is totally worth the price of admission. And they are not even sponsoring this podcast.
And the new Barbie, I'm not sure to what degree they use matte paintings, but they definitely used painted canvases to different degrees in the Barbie movie. So it's an old technique. It's a very effective technique. It's used in the termite battle, the aftermath of the termite battle scene that we're talking about here. Besides the beautiful matte paintings, I think it has some beautiful music. It is a real differentiator between the tone of A Bug's Life and the tone of Antz, this scene. What do you think?
I'm Googling, can an ant survive once their head has been cut off?
I mean,
Says
yeah.
ants cannot survive long without their heads because their heads contain vital organs, including the brain, mouth parts, and sensory receptors. So,
Right, but the head can survive on its own.
guess so.
Because if if you were somewhat of a naughty child like I was as a kid, and you may have killed some ants, you would have.
Okay, so you know
observed
from
that.
experience. Z carries on. I mean, especially for family film, Z carries on an extended conversation with this severed head. It's a good scene. I think this scene. I think the movie is supposed to be fun. It's not always fun, but I think it's supposed to be fun. And I think a scene that's a little bit more indicative of the tone of the movie at large that I like is the stuck to the shoe scene.
Okay.
I really like the moment actually where Z attempts to eat the sandwich, but he's blocked by the sandwich plastic. I thought the animation in that moment was really clever. But I feel like the moment where, what's our princess's name? Bala, where Bala gets stuck on the gum in the bottom of the shoe, it demonstrates, I think, the best case for DreamWorks animation. It's dynamic. It's got movement.
It's the only time they're actually using full CG instead of the matte paintings
okay.
that I was mentioning earlier.
It's a moment that really lets the score shine. So I think that's a much more fun scene and more indicative of what the tone of the movie is supposed to be.
Yeah. Do you think, we see all these movies that are made in, the Asian part of the world. What's a famous one? The one with the forest, Princess Mononoke? Mononoke, is that from China?
Japan.
So those movies are very serious. And The Prince of Egypt is very serious. Mm-hmm. And Antz comes right after Prince of Egypt. Do you think DreamWorks wanted to be like a more serious studio in terms of storytelling?
I would imagine that they felt like they needed to not be Disney, right? They needed to be something else. And I think they chose to try to be edgy.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned that is I think they have a lot of Princess Mononoke, not the fantastical elements, but the serious elements in their movie.
I don't think that anybody who worked on A Bug's Life or for Pixar or Disney at large would say that they're not dealing with serious issues. I think it's alternate strategy in terms of how they frame those issues. And I mentioned this before, and I think it's really a definitive difference between these films. Hopper and the Grasshoppers are an external threat to the colony, right? So it's not the colony's social structure that's to blame, right? It's
not the politics of the colony,
right? And it's a more identifiable social issue of this person doesn't fit in, right? Doesn't fit in culturally, not necessarily because their labor is being taken advantage of. And Antz actually uses the line, workers control the means of production in the film. And if you're a child, that's going to mean absolutely nothing to you.
Right.
You know?
So it's definitely like a more grown-up movie.
It's just, again, it's putting a social issue front and center as opposed, Z's conflict is with the societal structure.
Well, in what we'll talk about a little bit later, Hopper's scenes, when we talk about Spacey, is that there are scenes when he talks about why they need to be claiming the grain even though they don't need it. And that in that they're talking about social structures as a society, like rich versus poor, basically, I think.
But they're able to do in one scene. And Antz really spends the whole film kind of harping on the same issue. Not that it's not a worthwhile issue to discuss. It's just, when you're asking people to pay, I don't know, what was a movie ticket in 1998? $7, $6, $8?
I wish it was that now.
When you're asking people to pony up the dough, it's not supposed to feel like a college course.
Well, for me, this is an easy peasy for A Bug's Life. What do you think?
Me too.
Round 7. Best music moment / needle drop. Now, this is Michael's bread and butter here. And I'll just mention the composers and you kind of dive in. A Bug's Life was scored by a person named Randy Newman.
A person named Randy Newman.
I love the song that he has in the end of this movie. It's a pretty famous song, right? The Bug's Life end song.
Just a bug.
Yeah.
Little bug.
Did
Did
he win an Academy Award for this, right?
Nominated,
okay. He's known for composing, as many of you might already know, Princess and the Frog and various other Pixar films, including Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., and Cars. He wrote iconic songs such as Short People, You've Got a Friend in Me, and he has won 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Song. He has composed for, these are just some of the movies he's composed for, Meet the Parents, The Natural, Pleasantville, Seabiscuit. More recently, he's done a favorite film of mine. If you guys haven't seen it, I absolutely recommend it. Marriage Story. Very rewatchable for me. I've seen it like 3 times. What do you have to say about Randy Newman's work in A Bug's Life, and you want to mention any of their filmography here?
Not only has Randy Newman won a point for the film Volcano and his song...
He didn't score that movie, though.
No.
But he scored the win
I Love
for
L.A.
Volcano.
He's also been deemed a national treasure by this podcast. And great work. It's just great work here. There's a lot of really nice moments throughout Bug's Life where the score gets to shine. I think one of the best examples of that is when Flick starts off on his journey to the Bug City, and he grasps a hold of the dandelion seed, and he takes off above the canyons, and the score really has this moment to shine. It's a beautiful visual, and it's just a really arresting moment in the film. It's one of those moments that made me want to see it on a big screen, which I didn't think about this until now. I remember going to the movie theater, and my family was going to go see A Bug's Life, and I chose to go see The Water Boy instead, and they were all much happier with their choice than I was.
When Mission Impossible, so I grew up in India. When the first Mission Impossible came out, a bunch of us were very excited to see it, and we all. It was very hard to go watch a movie as kids in India because you don't have readily available transportation. You have to plan weeks in advance. So we had planned to go watch this movie, and my sister and her friends kind of tagged along with us. And when we got to the theater where Mission Impossible was playing, right across from it, there was a very, very crappy BS Bollywood movie playing. So my sister and her friends decided to ditch Mission Impossible and go watch that movie. And because my friend and I liked some of the girls in her group, we went to watch that movie. And that movie gave me like a 3-day headache. It was such an awful movie. And I regret to this day because I did not watch Mission Impossible in the theater.
It's like when you went to see The Illusionist instead of The Prestige.
This was worse.
This was worse. Okay. Well, now I feel like I have a better frame of reference.
Did you find out the sound designer's name yet?
Oh, I did. And then, of course, now I'm on something else. Gary Rydstrom.
Okay. For your great work in A Bug's Life. Even just while we're on the subject, when the rain comes and it sounds like an aircraft coming down.
What's that? It's like one of the first effects that you learn when you're using Pro Tools, and it's like...
I don't know this effect. Please elaborate. But that was good. I hope it shows good on video.
I'm gonna have to find this, figure out what I'm talking about.
Is our podcast going off track right now?
It definitely is a little bit. All right, let's talk about the music in Antz.
So Antz was scored by 2 people, Harry Gregson Williams and John Powell. Are you familiar with either of these people?
I am now.
Okay. A.G. Williams has scored a ton of movies, including Chicken Run, Spy Kids, Shrek, Phone Booth, and Man on Fire, and many, many more films that I'm
The
skipping.
Rock, Enemy of the State, The Martian, Alien Covenant.
More recently, he's done Gone Baby Gone, The Town, Equalizer 1 and 2.
He did The Town?
Yeah. And most recently, he's done The Meg and Meg 2.
I think we need a sound effect for whenever the Moneyball gets mentioned, and we need a sound effect whenever The Town gets mentioned.
You love those movies, don't you?
They didn't roll a Star Market for a box of quarters.
Good stuff. You're good at this stuff. Our second composer is John Powell. He was nominated for scoring How to Train Your Dragon, which Michael has not seen. He has composed for films like The Bourne Identity and Supremacy. He did a film I like and Michael doesn't, The Italian Job. He did Shrek. He did Rat Race. Where do you stand on Rat Race?
I don't hate it.
I love it.
It's very much, it really embraces what it is, and it puts its head down, and it follows right through the end where Smash Mouth appears on stage. R.I.P. lead singer of Smash Mouth.
He scored I Am Sam. He scored Paycheck. Where do you stand on Paycheck? We like Paycheck?
You know, I've never seen Paycheck.
Oh.
Well, I'm ashamed because I'm a huge Affleck fan.
I'll forgive you for this other Affleck movie which he scored called Geely. More recently, he has composed, the John Powell has composed Solo, A Star Wars Story, The Call of the Wild that just came out a couple of years back, and Don't Worry, Darling. I did not see that. Did you see that?
No.
So
Yeah.
that's an impressive filmography, just like A.G. Williams's. What do you think of their score in this movie?
I think it serves the film. There are not as many moments that let dialogue and sound effects take a back seat to the score. Even when the score has time to shine, I feel like the mix is not there to highlight it. Antz at large is a little claustrophobic. Somehow, I think it's really with color, the way that they use color in A Bug's Life, and that most of the movie takes place not inside the anthill. A Bug's Life feels more kind of expansive, and I think the music gets to go along with that. Antz takes place in large part underground within this ant colony, and similarly, I feel like the score gets boxed in. It doesn't really develop. The theme is the theme. It doesn't kind of change. Like if you watch Up, you have the na 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 na, right, and we're sad na 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 na. But then when the house is in the air, it's ba da 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 ba da da da. You know, they use the same melody to a totally different effect, and I mean that's Michael Giacchino, who's
I love it.
one of the best.
One of my favorite scores is Inside Out.
Yeah.
And that great job on that one too.
So, and we're not comparing it to Giacchino today, but I mean, for me, the score of Antz is not as interesting, and it's not.
Well, so I'm going to pause you right there. I'm glad you brought up Giacchino, because when you talk about movies like Up and Inside Out, and I don't know which other Pixar movies Giacchino has done, I can distinctly remember the score of those movies. But when it comes to A Bug's Life or Toy Story and Randy Newman's work in them, I cannot. I don't know, is it because it's too redundant in its tonalities, or is it that I just don't, it just doesn't resonate with me, Randy Newman's overall music. Because it feels like it's music I've heard multiple times before. It does not feel like a unique experience like Giacchino's in Up and Inside Out.
I mean, again, we're not comparing Randy Newman's score for A Bug's Life to Up.
Well, so coming to Antz, in different scenes where the music changes, you know, in the battle scene or during the workers' revolution or the bar scene that you mentioned earlier, the score seems to adapt itself purposefully and thoughtfully towards building a mood towards the scene that it's supporting. Whereas...
What's this? Oh, ace up the sleeve. Ace
All right.
up the sleeve. Bug's Life, Randy Newman.
All right.
Ka-chow.
Debate is over. I disagree with you, and should I? No. I'll save it for later.
Flanger.
What is that?
Flanger is the sound effect that I was thinking of. When the rain comes in, flanger is, you would put it on a sound, and it makes it sound like it's going from the right channel to the left channel, and it adds a exactly.
That's supposed to be wind?
No, it's flanger.
What does that mean?
It means what it means.
All right.
Round 8.
Round 8. The best director / which movie was directed better. A Bug's Life is directed by a couple of guys by the names of John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton. Is Lasseter still in exile, canceled and all that?
Well, John Lasseter should be officially canceled for the long haul here, but it seems that certain companies, namely Skydance Animation, feel that he's just too valuable to leave on the sidelines. So, he's still working.
So Lasseter, for those of you who might know, directed Toy Story 1 and 2, Cars 1 and 2, and he has produced pretty much every Pixar movie. Andrew Stanton is a very exciting director, and he has directed Finding Nemo, WALL-E, John Carter. Where do you stand on John Carter?
I don't think it's as bad as everybody
I've never seen it. I would love to
considers
watch
it. It's not good, though. It's not great.
He has directed episodes of Stranger Things and Better Call Saul, and he has also written several films. He has won Oscars for writing Finding Nemo and WALL-E.
And just to clarify, Lasseter has the director credit. Stanton has a co-director credit.
Oh, in this movie. But
Yes.
it doesn't just show up as directors,
No.
both their names? Oh, wait, so Andrew Stanton gets left out, or you want to
I
talk?
think he gets left out.
All right.
This is a Lasseter joint.
So what do you think of John Lasseter's direction in A Bug's Life?
Of all the ramifications of the Weinstein effect, of people holding those working in executive roles or director roles or even actor roles who create unsafe work environments and, frankly, sexually assault their coworkers, I don't know if there's one that's more disappointing than John Lasseter, and one that will result in all of us having access to fewer amazing stories. John Lasseter has an unbelievable sense for telling stories. He's created or co-created or, he's been in the mix of some of the most memorable original film stories and original film characters of our lifetimes. As the expression of a director, A Bug's Life is an amazing achievement. It's about making choices, and I find one of the most informative things, especially when it comes to Pixar movies, is when you learn about the process of making the film, and you understand a big choice, like a big choice that they made. And it kind of dovetails with what we were talking about earlier, that the original film had as one of the main characters, or as the main character, Flick was a part of the troupe, part of the circus troupe. And he was essentially trying to find work for all the circus bugs. So they were going around, instead of someone coming to look for them, they were going to anthills essentially looking for work, and they were going to lie and put on this, charade, and pretend that they're warrior bugs. And but I know that Lasseter showed up to work one day and said, this just isn't working. We don't have, I think he said he went to see the movie The Rock. And showed up at Pixar the next day and said, no matter what you think about the film The Rock or a Michael Bay film in general, Nick Cage is Stanley Goodspeed, and The Rock is a winning main character. He's a main character who you identify with and get behind. And A Bug's Life was the only film that Pixar was working on at the time. They only had the number of people and the resources to do one film at a time, and this was their second film after Toy Story. He said, wherever we are in this process, we need to reevaluate, because we don't have a winning character or a winning perspective for the main character. And Stanton suggested shifting the perspective from an ant who was a part of the circus troupe, because he could leave the circus troupe at any time, right? There was nothing that really kind of bound him to the circus troupe, and make him a part of an ant colony, because then that raised the stakes for him, right? He can't just leave the colony without leaving a huge part of himself, and there's supposedly like a lunch that Stanton and Lasseter and a few of the other, OG Pixar guys had, where they basically pitched the stories for Toy Story, Finding Nemo, A Bug's Life, WALL-E, and Monsters, Inc., that like in the very, very, very early days of Pixar, they knew where they were going. And then when you break out each of those individual films, you just see flawless decision making in terms of like, this is good, and this enriches the story, and this takes our eye off the ball, and get rid of it. So, I think John Lasseter is an incredible director and a flawed human being.
Yeah. So, much like Mel Gibson, much like Louis C.K., I feel like the personal decisions of people often destroys what otherwise seems to be like a genius level person. Like I think like you tell me this about Mel Gibson, and are we getting in trouble for this? I don't know, but I want to talk about this in terms of Mel Gibson. Have you ever seen an actor with the type of eye acting that Mel Gibson is able to do with his blue Australian eyes?
Maybe Z in Antz.
Z. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about with Mel Gibson's eye acting?
Yeah, like the crazy eyes. Like when he's running around the house in Signs and he's like, I'm insane with anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know if I've seen that in any other actor's face.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that these guys suck. It sucks so hard. And I feel, so I here's another little Michael tangent. I come from a very Disney family. My parents paid for a number of Disney cruises. And one time, the boat stopped at Disney owns a little island, and it was really cool. They used to have the boat from Pirates of the Caribbean parked there. Like you could see the Black Pearl from the film. It was very cool. And they've got like food and these really beautiful beaches, and you can get goggles and snorkel. And so I'm out there and I'm in this cool Caribbean water and I'm snorkeling, and I pop my head above the water. And who do I see wearing a snorkel 3 feet from me? Mr. John Lasseter.
All right. You're running into a lot of celebrities.
Well, I'm realizing that now that I don't know. I feel like I have had a run-in with an odd number of people that we've discussed on this podcast.
Yeah. I had a run-in with a favorite writer of mine, Charlie Kaufman. I'll tell you that story sometime. So Antz is directed by Eric Darnell and Tim Johnson. Eric Darnell has also directed Madagascar. Tim Johnson has directed Dreamworks' Home, and he was the executive producer on How to Train Your Dragon. So a pretty slim filmography for both. What do you think of the direction of Antz?
I'm not terribly impressed with the direction of Antz. I think too much of Antz takes place underground, and it's so brown.
Well, I think so. So, we mentioned the matte paintings earlier, right? And if you look at the overall style of direction, animation, you can see elements of traditional animation in Antz.
Right.
In that how they're using layering of backgrounds to animate over using CG. And the most CG scene is the one that we picked as best scene in the movie, which was the giant shoe where there's no matte paintings. So I think the filmmakers working on Antz come from traditional animation, and because of that, it suffers because they're trying to do something new with this old school knowledge, and they're just not equipped to do this new thing. Whereas Lasseter and Stanton and the Pixar folk are changing the game. They made Toy Story, and then they one-upped themselves, and you can see how the edges are much more rounded. The faces are, those big eyes, and the faces are just much more emotive through these computer-generated imagery, and you just don't get that in Antz. We're going to talk about Hopper versus the General a little bit later.
Yeah.
Both of them give pretty great speeches, great scenes, but the animation in A Bug's Life supports the actor's performance, whereas it does not support it at all in Antz.
Yeah, there's that shot in Beauty and the Beast, Disney's Beauty and the Beast, where we start on the ballroom ceiling and we come down and we circle the characters. I think that was the first time that a computer had ever been used to map a background for traditional 2D animation. And at this point, Pixar is in the Disney fold, but they're distributing. Disney didn't own Pixar at this point. Actually, Pixar was a publicly traded company. A Bug's Life was the first film that Pixar put out while being a publicly traded company.
Are they still a publicly traded company?
They are not. They are owned by Disney. So, as you said, there are traditional animation techniques being put to use, which I think creates a flatter, more static image, and it puts more weight on the dialogue, right? It puts more weight on the scene construction, and which I don't think is great. And Woody Allen's performance and Z are probably the best thing about the film. But Woody Allen is just such a like a pointed tone and taste and humor,
Like even with
it's so
flat,
specific.
Even with like a flat character on screen with its mouth moving and eyes thing, his performance comes across through the screen.
Yeah, but I don't feel that way really about anybody other than him and Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And talk about choices. The ants in Antz have human teeth, and it's really disturbing. And I found watching Antz to be very stagnant, and I felt like the color was so limited. And I was watching it on Amazon Mime, and it just looked like ass. Like this transfer. This film had a digital I have to assume it had a digital deliverable, which means that now I'm wondering.
I don't know, but the version that I got to watch, and I watched it on Peacock.
Yeah,
it doesn't look that great.
No,
and I don't know if the movie in theaters did not look great.
It was grainy, and it
looks
was
very purple,
muddy. Yeah, it was bad. And I mean, again, I don't know if that's a fault of the transfer. And when we say transfer, what we mean is the film exists on physical film, on 35 millimeter film, and then they run that through a machine which records the picture frame by frame, and that's how you get film grain while you're watching a digital stream, because you're actually looking at pictures of a film strip.
That's a highly technical way of saying what that. Like I don't know. I don't think people know what film grain is.
Film grain. It's the little dots. It's the little.
Listen to yourself.
It's the little dots.
If you explain this to your
Film
niece,
grain.
is she gonna understand this?
Well, she's
not the audience for this.
Yeah, she's 5. She's smart, but she's 5. And then you watch the very first shot of, it's actually the second shot of A Bug's Life. You move in, you push in on the ant island from a distance, and it's really nice because it sets the geography. And then the second shot is a close-up of ants climbing the stalks of grass and pulling the seeds. And the focus of the shot racks. It's the second shot of Bug's Life, and the focus shifts from pieces of grass that are right in front of the camera, where those go out of focus, and we pick up the focus of grass in the background, and we see more ants scurrying up the grass stalk. It's a traditional cinematic technique. It's not necessarily a technique that would be traditionally applied to animation, because it's a very complicated thing to do in an animation. And it just, it was such a breath of fresh air after watching Antz, because Antz literally felt stuck in the mud. And then suddenly in A Bug's Life, the camera's moving. It's flying. It's following characters. It's adjusting in a scene just like an operated camera would, So you're focused on Princess Ada, and then the queen comes up to talk to her, and the camera adjusts slightly to the left, to the way that you as a film goer would expect it to if it was a Lawrence Kasdan film or a Steven Spielberg film.
Are you jumping into cinematography right now?
This is all, again, to me, it's harder to discern
in directing.
Yeah, but Antz is just A Bug's Life is just, to me, a better storytelling experience. It's a better visual experience. It's just a better experience.
Yeah.
And I chalked a lot of that up to John Lasseter.
I'll give ants props where props are due, which is I appreciated that the ants had 6 legs in Ants, and the Bug's Life only had 4 legs, right?
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I think they have 2 legs and then they have 4 legs and 2 arms. That could be wrong.
Ants have 4 legs and 2 arms, but A Bug's Life has 2 legs and 2 arms. Please.
How many are they supposed to have?
6, I think.
Oh no, you're right. They've only got 2 legs in A Bug's Life.
Yeah, so I appreciate that
But that's
anatomical accuracy.
But
while
does that
still
make the
maintaining...
story better?
No. I'm just giving some props to where props are due, and I do agree with you that story. So I think Antz is a really good script, but I think Antz is directed poorly, and I think A Bug's Life, especially after seeing all the other work from Pixar, is not as good a script as some of the other work that they've produced, but it's elevated by its direction. So therefore, I feel that A Bug's Life is a much better directed film than Antz.
Again, it comes down to decisions, right? And all these decisions, I'm just looking at imagery from A Bug's Life on my laptop, and you see these characters, right, tuck and roll. And they all get these moments, right? They get these moments to shine and be funny. And there are moments that take unique advantage of the visual and the physical presence of the characters. Like, I really liked the scene where they're fooling Hopper and they're taking the Queen to safety near the end of the film, where the Queen hides in underneath Dim's armored wings,
Yeah, that was clever.
You get a moment to appreciate what's unique about each of these characters.
So, better direction overall. I agree with you.
Bug's Life.
Round 9. Best cinematography or best shot. A Bug's Life cinematographer is Sharon Callahan, who has done Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, and Onward. Solid filmography. What do you think of Sharon Callahan's cinematography in A Bug's Life?
There's so much life to the camera in A Bug's Life. The color palette is beautiful. The rendering of water and of sunlight, beautiful. One of the things that they mentioned in one of the behind the scenes video was that they were dealing with translucence for the first time. So, there are shots where you're seeing sunlight through leaves, right? And how you're going to pick up different texture and you're going to see the inner workings of the leaves, and that had never been done before. I mean, really, just compare the way water looks in
the 2 movies,
Antz versus A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
And there's a scene, when the grasshoppers return and they walk out of the fog. I was like, I wonder how they even knew that they could do that. How they knew that they could effectively animate that scene, and I wouldn't know where to start. And a moment in the film that really stuck out to me is when Dot is being chased by that insane feral grasshopper near the end.
Yeah.
The
Stomper?
Yeah, something like that. Thumper.
Yeah.
He chases her through this forest of grass, and the camera follows her like it's a Hitchcock film. It builds up a ton of tension, and then she ends up on the rock, and the camera zips out. It shows you that she's at the top of this this precipice, and he comes up behind her, and she falls off. And then zzz, she appears again out of the fog. But it was just it was tension and drama enhanced by camera movement. There was a moment, it must have been early in Pixar, where it was saying, we're going to make films that are animated. We're not going to make animated films. Antz is an animated film. A Bug's Life is a film that happens to be animated.
So let's talk about Antz cinematographer, who's not listed because I didn't think it had one. A filmmaker by the name of Simon J. Smith is the first result that pops up on Google, but he's not credited. So, an unlisted cinematographer here. What do you think of the cinematography of Antz?
It's tough. I honestly think it's one of the worst things about the film. Again, it's just brown. Like, the movie looks like ass on Amazon mime for more than one reason. Yeah, I guess it's hard to say, right? In the streaming world, it's hard to say, is the color that you're looking at, is the depiction of the imagery that you're looking at through a streaming service accurate?
I mean, ants look like ass. Is ass like? Do we need to blur that? Bleep that.
You talked about, for music, you talked about and we talked about the matte painting in the aftermath of the battle scene. I think that's the most beautiful scene in the movie. One, because it's outside. Its rendering of light is beautiful and very original and unique to the film, but it doesn't look like the rest of the movie. Even the Insectopia sequence, like all the colors in that, I think it's supposed to feel a little bit like The Wizard of Oz when you open the door and Technicolor, but it feels so phony. The colors are just, they're all kind of the same level of saturation. The reds are deep and the greens are deep and the yellow is deep, and that's just not how our eyes work, and that's not how environments look. And it really feels like throughout Antz that they are more interested in putting the movie out before A Bug's Life than they are in making a good-looking film.
So when I'm looking for cinematography of a film, I'm looking for shots that are memorable, right? In Bug's Life, I did not find shots that were memorable to me.
Boo.
So let me mention a few shots from Antz, and you tell me if you remember.
Oh,
them.
what's this? What? Oh, no, I already used my ace.
Yeah. So you remember the opening shot where it goes from buildings to grass blades?
Yeah.
And the grass blades look like buildings. And then you kind of, as you descend, you see cable, leftover wires and whatnot. That to me was a very effective shot. Had it been animated by a studio like Pixar, it would probably have been a much better looking shot, right? But in memory, that's a shot, I mentioned when the marching army is going out to battle. For the first time when they come out of the anthill, you see the saturated blue night sky in a wide-angle fisheye shot. That to me was effective imagery. Pixar could have probably done a much better job at it than Antz did. You mentioned the aftermath of the battle imagery, the matte painting. Really good. And that had fog in it, by the way. And then, do you remember the shot of the two giant shadows of the ants' faces on the wall of where all the worker ants are walking?
I do.
That to me was a very effective shot. And then the final shot of the movie where the camera kind of zooms out and then you see the place that you have been in this entire time, the garbage can, which is Insectopia, the anthill, which is right there, and what was a river is just like a little puddle. So all of these things and the picnic area, it all ties together and you zoom out and see the city. So to me, there were memorable shots in Antz. Yes, they could have been rendered better, produced better, but they were just much more memorable to me than they were in Bug's Life.
I'm going to list you a couple standout shots from A Bug's Life, and then you can decide which film gets the award, because I don't have my ace. I've already mentioned when Flick grabs the dandelion and flies off, and what kind of a beautiful moment of the film that is.
Agreed, memorable shot.
Another shot that caught my eye was the way that the kind of Times Square area of the insect city is. We see the leg of what we realize when the camera pans up is a daddy long legs, and the camera turns and then pans down as the daddy long legs walks away. We absorb the type of bug we're looking at, and then we revealed all of the bug city. So now we know where we are. Beautiful shot.
I don't know if it was a memorable shot, but I remember that shot.
When Flick realizes so Rosie, during the welcome ceremony and dinner, Rosie whispers in Flick's ear that they are circus performers and they're not warrior bugs. And the camera goes from way, way, way far back in the crowd. It goes, and it comes right into Flick's face as he realizes the trouble that he's in. Not that dissimilar from the transition that Ego goes through when he takes his bite of Ratatouille in the film Ratatouille. And then I skipped over one. The POV of the fly while Francis is yelling at him, and we see all the different Francises, the way that the fly is seeing it. When the bird shows up, we get both the perspective of the bird, where we're going from far away from the characters to close to the characters, then far away and close. And then we go back to the character's perspective, and we see the bird, and he's far away, and then his face is right here, and then it's far away, and then his face right here. The camera is telling the story. That's cinematography. Antz looks like ass. So if you want to give Antz a point, go ahead and do it, and live with that shame.
Point Antz. Are you upset with me? Thank God you didn't make me pull my ace up the sleeve. Thank God I get to still save it and maybe possibly use it for something else. Round 10. You should have made me use my card. Round 10. Best quote / best dialogue. You have done a really good job so far with all of the dialogues you've been saying. So do you want to jump in?
Yeah, where do you want to start with? Antz or Bug's Life? Bug's Life?
A Bug's Life, yeah.
All right, I got a couple from A Bug's Life. I really like this line. If I didn't promise Mother on her deathbed I'm going to start this one over. If I didn't promise Mother on her deathbed that I wouldn't kill you, I would kill you.
And then what is Molt's response?
And
believe me, no one appreciates that more than I do.
Something happens in between, and then Hopper goes to strike Molt, and he says, "Think of Mom." Stickbug says to Francis when they're in the bar, he goes, "Francis, your boyfriends from the circus are here."
Stick had a line during the circus scenes. Francis, leave them alone. They're poo-poo heads.
They're poo-poo heads, yeah. Both films are. Is there a category, or is there a twin film category about poop jokes?
No.
Both film had similar poop jokes.
Which film had better poop jokes?
It was pretty close. Yeah. I think I have that written down for an Antz quote, so we'll get to it.
Well, in the same scene we have from Stick. Come on, Francis, you're making the maggots cry. I thought that was pretty good.
That was fun. And then jumping to the very end of the film.
Wait, sorry. Just in chronology.
Oh, sure.
I have a fly saying in that scene, I only got 24 hours to live, and I ain't going
to spend it here.
I wrote this down just because I thought it was funny, because I was like, these girls don't know what this means. When the Blueberry Troop is called off Francis in the anthill, the nanny goes, "All right, girls, let's get your little keisters out of here now." I had to look at what a keister was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't. Did you know what a keister was?
I don't even know. I wouldn't know how to guess how to spell. I knew what a keister is. It's a butt. It's your butt, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't even know how to spell it. Does it start with a K?
Kiester for anybody who wants to spell
Keister.
it. I use the word caboose around my daughter all the time. Like, get your caboose over here, you know? So keister is a good replacement word for now.
There you go.
I have PT Flea saying, "Let's get the show packing. We got paying customers hatching."
No, I did not pick up on that one. I have a late film PT Flea quote.
Yeah, go for it.
When he's being kind of like railroaded and wrapped up in cobweb, he says, "I promise to start thinking about paying you."
I have one from the gag reel. Do you have any other quotes before we get into the gag reel quote?
I think it's one of Heimlich's last lines. He pops out from his cocoon and he says, "I'm finished." And then as he's revealed to look exactly the same as he did before, but now he has tiny butterfly wings. And I think Dim is helping him fly. He says, "And from way up here, you all look like little ants," which I think is one of the more clever lines in the movie.
So I have one from the gag reel. I really enjoyed the gag reel in A Bug's Life. And during the gag reel, they animated like a whole series of like outtakes, right?
Yeah.
Which was pretty clever, you know? Because in animated movies, these things don't exist, basically, right?
It's really fun. And there's moments where they cut the scene, and then like you can see the camera like relaxes as if like somebody is like letting go, you know, like letting the camera dip forward or something.
Actors are getting upset,
and you're seeing imperfections. Yeah, they're really cleverly written.
Yeah, it was really well done. So during the gag reel, there's one line where Girl Ant says to, I don't know which character, says, "So is there a Mrs. Ant you have to tunnel home to?" Oh,
and then it's a cardboard ant, and she's like, "Oh." Put this one in my trailer.
Yeah.
tunnel home to.
Is that what's your favorite? Well, should we pick a favorite quote here?
I mean, I really like if I hadn't promised Mother on her deathbed that I wouldn't kill you.
You missed the
I
swear
would
because he
kill
says,
you.
"I swear if I hadn't promised."
Oh, I swear if I hadn't promised.
Yeah, and I love Molt's response, which I don't think you mentioned, which is, "And believe me, no one appreciates that more than I
me.
do."
Um,
All right, so that's
I like
let's go
that
with
one.
that.
Yeah, let's go with that
All
one.
right, for Antz, what do you have?
Ants. Let me look at my list here.
I have in the very opening. I have when you are a middle. You have that one?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
Well, you do a better job. Come on.
When you're the middle child in a family of 5 million, you don't get a lot of attention.
You don't get any attention.
Any attention.
There was during the bar scene. I think it was Sylvester Stallone's character that says, "Are you crazy? This guy's built like a pebble," which I thought was
Yeah, I liked that one. There's another really weird and an adult beat where Z says to Bala, "I was going to let you become part of my most erotic fantasies."
But now you can just forget that, write it off.
Too much.
That was pretty good. And then,
Oh, I got my poop joke. You want the poop joke?
yeah.
So one of the bugs says, "This stuff tastes like crap." And the other one says, "Really? Let me try some."
I
Hey,
remember
it is crap. Not bad.
that was good, yeah.
But my two favorite, are you prepared for my two favorites?
Go for it.
Are their Z lines. One of them comes when they re-enter, they're in the mega tunnel, and he and Bala are trying to kind of stop, the impending disaster. And Z points off into the crowd and he says, "Wait a minute, that guy owes me money," which felt very much like a Woody Allen beat. And then, I mean, my winner for it's my favorite moment in the movie, and it's something that my friend Rob references a lot, is when the penny shows up during the stuck to gum on the bottom of the shoe scene. Z points to Lincoln on the penny, and he goes, "Who the hell is that?"
So, well, what's our favorite line from this? You pick, which one did you pick?
The moment that I laughed the most at is the "Who the hell is that?"
All right, and that's not going to compete with our other
But
one.
I don't think I laughed as much at that as I did. You all look like ants from way up here. You all look like little ants from way up here. Heimlich has probably 15 lines.
And they're all
Ooh,
funny.
candy corn. Can I help you to finish it?
Yeah, I think I like A Bug's Life dialogue overall. Let's give it to them.
I agree.
Round 11. Which movie gets the Good Time at the Movies award? This is a very simple one. Go for it, Michael.
A Bug's Life.
Good Time at the Movies. Let's take a break. We haven't counted the points yet, Michael. What do you think is the total?
I feel like Bugs is probably inched ahead here.
Yeah, probably by a lot. I've been hearing a lot of bugs. Now, let's get into the specific category. So the biggest change we have made in the podcast is that we have trimmed down the back end. We have converged the genre and twin movie specific categories into just four questions? Yeah, 4 questions at the end here. So let's talk about this. Both movies
Trimming down your back end. Not as popular as it used to be.
have a misfit and protagonist. What is that from?
That's me.
Both movies have a misfit and protagonist who is not happy with the way things are done in the ant colony. You have a bad guy who thinks that the worker ants are weaker. You have a princess training to take over the job of the queen ant. Both movies have a major scene involving fire. In both movies, the protagonist travels to a distant city to achieve his goals. In both movies, the protagonist gets trapped in a water bubble. I can keep going, but let's just jump into these questions.
Lots of similarities.
Round 12. Which movie has the best protagonist destroys the collective effort of the colony scene? For A Bug's Life, we have Flicks rushes to add his collection to the food pile, but his machine's vibrations destroys the entire food pile scene. And then for Antz, we have Z holds the giant cannonball made of ants, but drops it before they can fulfill their task. Which scene is better?
You want to kick this one off? I mean, I have a feeling, but I feel like I've been leading the discussion.
Go, you tell me.
The scene at the beginning of A Bug's Life where Flick's invention causes the collapse of the offering stone is devastating. It's devastating. You know, Flick goes from feeling great about his invention to feeling bad about himself because it's not well received, to then his invention being the tool of the destruction of his colony's food supply. It's poetic and it's tragic. The way that the moment unfolds, where, you know, the contraption, like, whoop, you know, the catapult aspect of the contraption. Little side tangent. The beat where Princess Ada gets thwapped by the grass stalk. It's never struck me as that hilarious before, but I'm watching it last night. You know, she gets hit in the exact center of her body, and then she's lying on the ground, and the blade of the grass is laying, covering her entire, you know, her from her face to, you know, between her legs. And the second they get that stalk off her, thwap, another one comes down. The physicality of the opening of the movie is so hilarious. But, you know, after his contraption knocks out that little rock, and this moment, the moment in time is expanded as the pieces of food, you know, falls off the cliff. Like you get to see it go from this massive pile to a middling pile to just a few pieces left. And he's desperately holding on to the leaf, and you get a sense of the physics of Flick's world, right? That, like, he's strong enough to hold the leaf, which is bigger than him, but he's not strong enough to stop this, you know, from happening. And then you get the one last piece, and the way that it falls off and drips and disappears into the water. And it's at that moment you're with him, right? You're with him in that moment, and the realization, the gravity of what's happening, and the droning of the grasshoppers, you know, their wings is in the background, and you can still hear that. That's filmmaking, baby.
Yeah. Conversely, the ant scene is, I don't even know why he dropped the ball, other than the joke that I dropped the ball.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with Antz, is it all feels very surface level. You watch the Pixar films, and the characters are drawn as such, and the story unfolds as such, as though it could not unfold any other way. You know, the situations that are presented, the inciting incident, causes a series of events that it feels like the organic evolution of a series of events. And I mean, it's quality storytelling, and I mean, it's what made Pixar.
I don't know if I agree with, in The Bug's Life it works, in a lot of Pixar movies it works, but sometimes I watch a movie like Coco, which is a beautiful looking movie, great moments in the movie, great scenes in the movie.
Remember me.
And then you get the reveal of, like, who the bad guy is. And it's very cliche, it's not organic, it's very BS. You know, it's very surface level, much like the cannonball falling, you know?
I love Coco.
Not as much as
Ernesto de la Cruz.
So I don't think it always works, what you're describing, like the storytelling organically evolving. But in this particular scene, yes. In most of A Bug's Life,
I'm not going to
yes.
go bet, you know, I'm not going to go to bat for each individual Pixar movie. In the world that we lived in, where we got to know Pixar in terms of Toy Story, Bug's Life, Toy Story 2.
Please don't mention Cars in this list.
WALL-E. I've come around on Cars. It's not my favorite, but I've come around. It's a great voice performance by Owen Wilson, and it's really, really wonderful world building. And I think I don't want to go off talking about Cars too much, but it's hard to make these things that are metal, shiny metal, so
hold on,
warm and engaging.
I would like you to pause there, because Cars' main character is a racer, and those racers are not made out of metal.
Okay. Awesome. I'm glad we're talking about this.
Just, you know, some technical knowledge for our listeners.
WALL-E, Up. I mean, these films are unassailable.
Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. Absolutely.
And I think a new classic, Inside Out. 2015? Was that the release date?
You and I both hold Inside Out in very high regard.
Yeah.
I think rightfully so.
So A Bug's Life gets a point for, what was the category?
Which
the
movie
best
had destruction of collective effort.
Round 13. Which movie had the better, fancy British accent bug couple?
All right, we got Muffy and Chip in Antz. That's Dan Aykroyd and Oh, I'm forgetting her name. The woman from Third Rock from the Sun.
The drunk couple.
Yes. Jane Curtin is the woman voice.
Yeah. So that was a couple there.
I was really shocked when she gets blasted.
Yeah. there are a couple of shocking deaths.
It's really, yeah, there's some real brutality in Antz.
Danny Glover's head is lying in the middle of the battlefield.
And
she gets stomped, right? No, she gets whacked.
She by the fly swatter,
Yeah.
but she's like smushed.
That's a great reveal in that scene where the fly swatter swats over our protagonist and the princess.
Yeah, like a Buster Keaton
And then as
stunt.
it's revealing, as it's lifting off, our guys are fine.
yeah.
But
Oh, it's really disorienting because he's like, oh, my Muffy.
yeah. Oh my God. Can't believe. I mean, that's got to traumatize children, right?
Yeah, and I was like, this is stupid and a waste. But then Chip shows back up later, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess they kind of earned it, kind of.
In The Bug's Life, we have Gypsy and her mantis husband. What's the mantis husband's name?
Mantis.
Oh, it's Mantis? All right. So, yeah. So that's the couple. And Gypsy is used a few times throughout the story. I don't know about Mantis. But we're talking about which movie had the better fancy British accent bug couple. What do you think?
mean, it's at least once a week that in my house you'll hear me go, transformation! And I'm referencing Mantis. So Mantis is a presence in my life on a lot of days, and I don't think about Chip and Muffy all that often. So Mantis and Gypsy are near and dear to my heart.
Okay. Ace up my sleeve.
All right, great, awesome.
I like the B couple. I like the B couple in Antz.
It this feels personal, but I'm ready to move on.
I like them. I like a good alcoholic husband sad about his
You know
dead
what?
wife.
You know what I like. I like that you have chosen to use your ace on your own category this time instead of just jumping on my bandwagon and dashing my ace up my sleeve.
A couple of non-competition questions. Which movie had the better anthill?
I really like the glowy mushrooms in Antz. Those go a long way for me. And it's just the rendering of color, in the oh wait, did I say Antz? In Bug's Life. Bug's Life has the glowy mushrooms, and
I thought the anthill as a place was better in Antz.
Really?
Whereas in anthill, in A Bug's Life, it was just kind of like the top layer. You don't really get into like the depths of the
I
anthill.
guess you don't see as much of it.
Yeah, so I thought the anthill was much better depicted in Antz than in... Anyways, continue.
That's fine. That's fine. This is not an official category, so I'm not going to go 10 rounds with you.
Yeah. Which movie had the better bar drinks?
The drinking from the aphid's anus joke did not land for me.
Yeah.
I really liked the aphid pet that the queen has in A Bug's Life. What are they drinking in A Bug's Life?
Well, I just wanted to do the line that the mosquito says when he orders a Bloody Mary.
You go.
Bloody Mary, oh positive.
Oh, positive.
I just want to do that line. So
okay, that bar, because I was thinking about the La Cucaracha bar that the grasshoppers are hanging out. But you're talking about the Bug City bar.
Yeah.
I don't like the aphid butt drink.
Yeah.
So I'm pro.
I like the
Bug's
O
Life.
positive Bloody Mary. That's pretty good.
I love it.
All right, back to categories.
Official
Official categories. Round 14. Which movie's bad guy gave the best inspirational speech to rally the crew? So we have, in A Bug's Life, we have Hopper rallying his troops, giving them reasons of why they need to go back to the anthill to terrorize the ants. And in the movie Antz, we have General Mandible. General Mandible rallying the troops, rallying the ants, telling them that Z is not their savior and they need to work together so they can have a prosperous colony. Which movie's bad guy gave the best inspirational speech to rally the crew?
I was just thinking about Christopher Walken as the ant being like, your father had this watch up his ass.
What is that? Catch Me If You Can? What movie is that?
That's Pulp Fiction. Let me answer this question by posing you another question. Does anyone seem really in line behind General Mandible?
No. Okay.
I think, to me, Hopper, so Hopper...
So let me ask you, let me tell you why I brought this up.
yeah.
I love the canceled Kevin Spacey's scenes as Hopper in A Bug's Life. And...
Oh, you think that his cancellation enhances the role?
No. I just wanted to acknowledge that I understand that he's canceled and that he's a horrible human being.
Right. No, we have a real trifecta of cancellation going on in these films.
Yeah, this is tough. So yeah, I liked Hopper's scenes, and I really liked the bar scene in which he rallies his troops. Do you want to talk about it at all?
I think it's just such effective writing. We don't spend a whole lot of time with Hopper, but his physical stature, the way that the camera, the way that they shoot his introduction scene from ant level where you're looking up at him, he's very imposing.
There's when we first meet him, he kind of walks away from camera and we see his back, and it's like a shield tuxedo type of back. That was the first time I thought that the character design in A Bug's Life was really great, because the ant design, I've never seen blue ants in my life. Have you?
Not personally.
Yeah. So blue ants missing 2 legs, and the ant design I think is much more anatomically proper. So seeing Hopper in that scene when his back is turned and his beautiful wings in the shape of what looks like an overcoat or a cape was great.
It's the texture in the texture of the characters in A Bug's Life is what sells them, I think, to a greater extent than the characters in Antz. Something that cracked me up last night was when Tuck, it's either Tuck or Roll, I'm not sure which one, grasps onto Hopper's one of his antennas, and then he flies away without it, and then later... And Hopper just kind of glances upwards, realizing that he's lost one of his antennas, and he's just like, "Oh God!" And then later we see the pill bugs, and he's like, bah, 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 and he's moving the antenna around like it's a puppet. A Bug's Life is just they do a better job of taking advantage of what's unique and makes these characters original.
Yeah, and Hopper's speech is one of the only scenes when I guess we're not with Flick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of the only scenes in the movie. And it's a great scene. Great speech by the canceled Kevin Spacey.
Love it. Don't love him.
Round 15. Which movie had the best climactic water disaster scene that leads to the antagonist falling to his death? In A Bug's Life, rain comes in and causes havoc. Great sound effects. The water effects are probably better in A Bug's Life than they are in terms of scale, right? Better in A Bug's Life. And then quite a surprising and torturous death for Hopper. Well deserved. I would equate it to Hans's death in Die Hard. It was a good death.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. It's fitting.
In Antz, we have the epic scene where Z gathers all of the ants to make a giant cylindrical ladder, which takes the effort of the entire colony to come together and survive. And then finally, Z pops up through the ground right in front of the general. Cutter decides to stand up to the general, and then the general dives after Z and plunges to his death. So that's the scene in Antz. And I told you the scene in Bug's Life. Which movie had the best climactic water disaster scene that leads to the antagonist falling to his death?
Well, I think we've said it on a lot of, or I've said it in a lot of episodes. We come here to talk with the aim to talk about things that we like. We don't want to sit here and just crap on films like The Illusionist. And I think water at large serves a much more integral role in Antz. And I think that the whole setup and the dramatic tension that's derived from knowing, not even, this is before the water's flowing, but knowing what's going to happen when they break through in their new tunnel. That's really effective. It's one of the best things that Antz does. I think the physics and the sound design of the rain works much better in A Bug's Life. And water is used in more unique ways, the way that Flick makes his telescope
Oh, actually, I want to shout out to the scenes when we see the point of view of the telescope.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that in direction or cinematography, but those are great shots.
Great shot.
When you see the perspective from the telescope.
Lots of effective point of view shots in A Bug's Life. But, you know, I think the water as a thematic element and driver of the story is very effectively used in Antz. And I think the visual of the ants being surrounded by water and the tower of ants, and from that point in the movie, the things that happen feel organic, right? And you're along for the ride.
Well,
So
all the elements are kind of coming together at that point.
finally,
And there's one thing I want to say about the special effects of Antz, and I don't know if it has to do with the crappy print that we all get to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, but if you have observed dense groups of red ants, how they look is very specific, and in scenes when they're making the cannonball,
Yeah.
and when they're making the tower, and you see the intricate webbing and netting of the ants, interconnections, it looks legit. It looks really well done, and I wish they had somebody like Pixar Studio animating this thing, because it would actually look, because the idea is there, and it would look significantly better with the Pixar team than it does with the DreamWorks team.
But long story short, I think the water element is an effective part of the film Antz, and one of the things that they pull off the best. So
Story-wise.
yes, I'm happy to.
But I think the death of the general is way more effective in.
Oh, is that
Bugs
what the category is actually called?
No. Category is I guess a combo, which is which movie has the best climactic water disaster scene that leads to the antagonist falling to his death. I guess it's more about the scene. So yeah.
So I feel comfortable giving Antz a point here.
Yeah.
At
With
the
a
end of our podcast.
with a acknowledgement that the death is really good in A Bug's Life.
We rejoice at the death of Kevin Spacey.
Put it on the board for Antz. This has got to be like a washout, right?
Is that an intended pun?
Let's take a break. All right, that's the end of all of the categories, Michael. Before we get the final tally, let's recap real quick.
All right.
Do you have a final tally, by the way?
I do.
Okay, cool. Round 1, which movie won the release date?
Antz.
Round 2, which movie won the box office?
A Bug's Life.
Round 3, which movie has the better title?
A Bug's Life.
Round 4, which movie has the better leading actor?
Antz.
Round 5, which movie has the best rest of the cast?
A Bug's Life.
Round 6, which movie has the best scene?
Also A Bug's Life.
Round 7, which movie has the best music moment / needle drop?
Just a bug.
This was your ace up the
A
sleeve,
Bug's
right?
Life.
Round 8, best director / which movie was directed better?
Bug's Life.
I'm going to have a hard time mixing that. Can't you just say it in normal?
Bug's Life.
Round 9, best cinematography / best shot.
Antz.
That was my ace of the
Oh,
sleeve.
God. I was like, how'd that happen? Ugh.
Round 10, best quote / best dialogue.
Bug's Life.
Round 11, which movie gets the Good Time at the Movies award?
A Bug's Life.
Round 12, which movie has the best protagonist destroys the collective effort of the colony scene?
Bug's Life.
Round 13, which movie had the better fancy British accent bug couple?
Antz.
Wait, this was my ace up the sleeve and cinematography.
Oh, I had given. I had.
You had given up.
I had attempted to persuade you and failed.
Antz. Round 14, which movie's bad guy gave the best inspirational speech to rally the crew?
A Bug's Life.
Round 15, which movie had the best climactic water disaster scene that leads to the antagonist falling to his death?
Antz.
This is a wash. Like, this is
It's
probably the
not
biggest
close.
spread.
It's not close.
It's a huge spread, right? What do we got?
With 5 points, Antz is defeated by A Bug's Life with a total of 10 points.
I saw that coming. I saw that coming from a mile away. And, this is one of those things where It's kind of like The Prestige versus The Illusionist.
I don't
Right.
feel like this is an unfair assessment.
With 10 points for A Bug's Life beating out 5 points for Antz. The ants in The Bug's Life defeat the bugs in Antz in today's Hollywood versus Hollywood.
I was like, how is he going to land this plane?
What are your feelings at the end here?
Oh, I feel good. I had been really looking forward to revisiting A Bug's Life. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I thought about it fondly. I remembered it fondly. And honestly, Antz was worse than I remembered it. I couldn't really identify with any of the characters. I felt like the supporting cast was just so unengaged. They really tried something, you know. They definitely had an idea in mind, which was call Woody Allen and let him do his thing.
I think this was their Prince of Egypt phase, where they were making much more serious content, right? And I think like the story was there, but I think the animation just wasn't there.
I think neither were there, but that's me.
All right, man, let's wrap it up. Thanks for listening. This is HT with my co-host, Michael.
I was happy to be here.
Only on the Hollywood versus Hollywood podcast. Thank you for listening to the Hollywood versus Hollywood podcast.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen.
And connect with us on Instagram at HollywoodVSPod.